Now in part 3, I'm going to play a simple tune on the piano, and you will see it written above on the stave. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my metronome again to give me a count in. So the count in is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'm going to start playing this particular tune, and it's just going to be Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And all I'm going to do is to play the first few bars of it. Now I will play it and you could try and follow it on the music. There aren't any sort of lit up notes here, so try and follow the music from C, which is going to be the first note, which is the one below the stave. So if you look at the stave, all of the notes, apart from a few of them, were quarter notes or one beat or crotchet. C, C, G, G, A, G. Now that G was twice as long, which resulted in the minim or the half note, where the note wasn't filled in that time. So if you're just looking back through the music, you can see that. You can see the C twice, G twice, A twice, and then the G held for 2 beats. And then we had F repeated, E repeated, D repeated, and then C. And the C I held on for 2 beats only, so you can see at the end there is a 2-beat rest as well. Now that's how, essentially, that's how it works. Now, moving on, so far we've just used natural notes. We haven't gone into any sharps or flats yet. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this piece of music again, but this time I'm going to start on D instead of C. Now if I used all natural notes, before you see anything on the page, if I used all natural notes, oh, now that doesn't sound right at all. There we go. We've got our F sharp now. So if I play this tune again, you'll see on the stave that all of the notes have moved up, and there's a little sharp symbol in front of the F that's telling me that I'm going to play an F sharp instead. Now, on the stave, as you can see, there was an F sharp. However, if I now change this, usually music has what's called a key signature. The time signature, which was 4/4, says how many beats there are in each bar. But we also have something called a key signature, so you have 2 things to worry about. You've got the time signature and the key signature. So if you look at the stave now, you will see that F sharp appears at the beginning of the stave. So if you look next to the treble clef, and then you can see the 4/4. Now you've also got a key signature, which actually comes between the treble clef and the time signature. So you can see there's a little hashtag, which this time sits on the top line, which is F. Now the fact it sits on this particular F sharp doesn't just apply to this one, it applies to all of the F sharps that may or may not be in the music. So it could be an F sharp down here, or an F sharp all the way down there. So this time, when I play this tune, I've been told to use the F sharp because it said so at the beginning. So if you look on the stave, you can see that the F on the music has no hashtag in front of it anymore because it's simply referred to at the beginning. This means if you've got lots of F sharps in your music, you don't have to put sharps in front of them. And actually, I know it might look a little bit misleading at the moment. It makes much, much more sense later when you sort of go through and look at all of this. Now, The same thing goes for flats. You could have a key signature that has a flat in. So if I start on F now, I'm going to play the same tune. You can see on the page that this time there's a little flat symbol in front of the B, which signifies a B flat. But once again, if we add our key signature, if we add the key signature, you can see that there is a little flat symbol at the beginning, right next to the treble clef before the 4/4 time signature. That means that every single B that you come to, you have to use a B flat. So we had a 1 sharp, which was F sharp, and 1 flat, which was B flat. Now, the reality is a key signature could have lots and lots of sharps or flats. You won't see a key signature that has a mixture. It'll be only sharps or only flats. So for example, if I played this starting on B, there are 5 sharps in that key signature. Now, only 4 featured in the music, but this is called a key signature, where you have a certain number of sharps, which means a certain key. Now, this is sort of perhaps subject material for a bit later on, but it's just to introduce you to that concept that you can have more than 1 or 2 sharps. You can have 5 sharps. So if I played it, so if I started on a black note, if I started on E flat, it would do this. Now, you can see that there were 3 flats at the beginning of the key signature, a B flat, an E flat, and an A flat. Notice they don't go alphabetically. That is another thing to remember, the order of sharps and flats in the key signature when it comes. I have made a video on my channel about this, about the circle of fifths, and you can see the link below to that, should you wish to go further on into that sort of theory. Now, just briefly, you can have 2 notes at the same time. Of course, we can have any number of notes at the same time. I've got 10 fingers, I could play 10 different notes at once. Now, what happens on the stave, if I play the F, for example, which was the first space, and then I played an A at the same time, on the stave, you can see that one note simply appears above the other. So when you look at a stave, the time is moving that way. So if you have 2 notes that are sat on top of each other, that means they're going to be played simultaneously. I could have 3 notes, F, A, and C. I could have F, G, A, and C. Now, where the notes are next to each other on the musical stave, they're actually slightly offset. Now, this shouldn't be confused with playing one note after the other. If I play F, G, A, and C, which is a nice expensive sounding F major chord, you can see the F, G, and the A are sort of bunched together where the G is. The F and the A stay in the same place, but the G usually comes before to the other side of the stalk. Some people put it the other side, that's fine. It depends what is happening actually. And music is quite flexible in that way. So we have F, G, A, and C. Now, if we had something like this, there's a sharp there, but it's actually a flat because we have a G there already, so we can't have a G sharp. If you've got a G on your stave and you add this one, it has to be called an A flat. So you can see that on the stave we have F, G, A flat and C. Now you can see that the flat symbol sort of languishes to the left somewhere, but it'll always be positioned. You can see that the main body of the flat symbol, that is the bottom of the lowercase b, sits on the space where the A would be. Now this is it's just repeated exposure. That's what this is. It's just exposing yourself to music and trying to work out what's going on. Even music that is just got loads and loads of dots on the page, it's all based on this very sort of same principle of having a note which is positioned on the stave and then rhythms which go along.